Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Alice. I'm joined always by my dad.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about something a little different today. I said today twice, but we're going to be talking about films instead of movies. And we have a special guest with us today, Evelyn Ingen.
Hi.
And so for this episode here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Oscars and all that, our predictions and such.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we're going to just talk about what we've seen lately. So, Dad, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I just recently checked out Misery, which is a classic Stephen King adaptation with Kathy Bates and James Caan. Great flick. Really brutal scenes, and Kathy Bates got an Oscar for Best Actress.
And she's nominated this year for Best Supporting Actress with the movie Richard Jewell. Seems like a good flick and all. Evelyn, what have you seen lately?
I've pretty much seen all Oscar movies preparing for this podcast, so I took the time to watch all of the movies nominated for Best Picture except Ford vs. Ferrari and The Irishman, just because The Irishman is very long. But watching Jojo Rabbit just last night with Steven and his mom, it was a really well combined movie. It had a good combination of comedy and also just the overall overlook of just war and the bad things about it and how sad it can be at that time.
How big was the rabbit? I'm wondering.
The rabbit there was no big.
There was no rabbit?
No. Well, there was like a scene with one rabbit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was pretty much it, though.
It was like some little symbolism. They were making fun of him calling him a rabbit, but then at the end they had kind of glorified being a rabbit. Like, oh, it's not a bad thing.
I think by me saying that, I didn't see the movie.
Yeah, he did not see the movie.
Okay.
I also saw Joker, I'd probably say maybe 2 weeks after it came out, and that movie was great. Definitely it was just dark. The whole time I could never I didn't smile once. I was upset the whole movie. I just had this look of just pissed off the whole movie. It was really dark. Little Women I saw, and you guys didn't see Little Women. But Little Women, it was really good. It felt pretty long, but it was just definitely a good representation of what it was like back then in the 1800s for women and just them getting equality. So that was a good movie. Marriage Story, that Netflix movie, it had a lot of building up comments on it from a lot of people who've seen it. They were like, oh, it's good. Oh, it's interesting. The acting. I found it to be really good. I just liked how it was, the entire thing was just about them getting a divorce and how complicated it can get. And how
Should
it
have been
affects
called
your
Divorce
kid.
Story.
Yeah,
I
Divorce
don't
Story.
think that would have sold as well.
I don't know why they called it Marriage Story. It's not about their marriage. It's about them getting out of their marriage.
Oh, and the argument scene. Oh, man, that was just...
I can nearly quote the entire argument.
That was near the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little bit over the top. I can't imagine him saying what he said. That was just too vicious.
Someone made an edit of that where they both have Goofy's voice.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's so funny.
And the courtroom scene is actually really good. I liked the courtroom scene. It just felt like so intense. We both saw 1917, Steven and I, and it was really good. Arguably, probably one of my top 2 favorites of all the nominated for Best Picture. I just love how it was directed. They say one shot. It wasn't really all one shot, but how they put it together made it look like one shot.
Yeah, just all the planning that went out through this movie, especially the guy in charge of cinematography, Roger Deakins. He has a very good resume for himself. 15 Oscar nominations and only winning one, but he deserves a lot more. He did a great job.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I didn't expect anything less than good from Quentin Tarantino. He's a classic. But it was just like any of his movies. Weird, but good weird. I liked it. It's a lot of cuts.
And the dialogue, incredible.
And it's a love story to the past.
Yes, that dialogue I liked it a lot. Yeah, you had to have some background knowledge, like some context of what was going on. I had to ask my dad, I was like, who are these people? like what's going on? He's like, you don't know the story? And then he pretty much explained it to me after the movie, and I had to go see it again.
And it will get
Let me see.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt his first Oscar.
Yeah, I think he has a good shot at supporting actor. He's been winning most of those nominations in other award shows. But for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really look forward to it because I too am a big fan of Tarantino. Well, actually, we all are. My dad got me into Tarantino in the first place, so really just movies in general. Mm-hmm. You can tell where I get a lot of my personality from. But either way, I actually had a hard time enjoying it the first viewing. I liked it, but it just didn't feel right. But for some reason, I watched it the second time. It was just so much better. I don't know exactly what it was, but I think maybe just like that I was understanding things better. I was able to focus on it much more.
I feel the exact same way. The first time I watched it, especially not knowing the historical part of it, I was just like, this is edited weird, it's shot weird, why are they acting like this? Like, I didn't really follow it, I wasn't too into it. But then the second time, and then I got a better understanding of Tarantino's filming and the background of it, I was like, this is a good movie. So I definitely have a more like a deeper appreciation of the movie after having learned more about it. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to go do your research and watch a movie a couple times. But the movie I love the most, so I'm pretty biased for today's podcast, is Parasite. It was just the most out-of-the-box kind of movie. And I really do think the language barrier should be no issue if you're a real film lover. So those who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and actually I was forced to watch that one by my dad. I'm like, do I really want to watch it? I don't know. And again, I'm thinking about I don't really mind subtitles because, and this doesn't have to do with film, but somewhat shows I kind of got into watching anime, and that involves a lot of subtitles all the time. Unless you watch dub, which I don't recommend because dub is horrible. But I kind of got used to reading subtitles and watching Parasite. Like do I really want to watch this? But no, when I got out of the theater, like, oh, that was such a good viewing. There's so much about it that's great. The way everyone interacts with each other is such great chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen so many subtitled movies that are just incredible. Raw, Seven Samurai, of course Parasite. That was a great flick. It threw me off for the first 5 minutes, and then reading the words didn't, just disappeared. You just got into the movie, reading it and watching it.
It's almost like your eyes naturally just follow the screen and the words at the same time. But you're lucky your dad forced you to watch it. I have to force my dad. He's one of those people who are like, I don't want to read and watch, but you're definitely missing out on a lot of good films if you have that mindset. But yeah, it was a really great movie, and it's actually funny because my friend forced me to watch it. He was like, you have to see this, and I was like, subtitles? Foreign film?
Do I have to?
So I had the original mindset, but then I wasn't like, I'm never gonna watch it. I just watched it, and it was really good.
Yeah, another movie that you didn't see Irishman, right, Dad?
I haven't seen Irishman, no.
Yeah, so I'm the only one here that saw Irishman. Don't blame either of you because it's a real. It's a great movie.
You need some coffee for that.
I'm gonna get that out of the way. It is a great movie, but you definitely have to be prepared to watch it because you got to make a lot of room in your schedule.
Yeah, I spoke to my teacher today, and I told him what I was doing today, and I was like, I haven't seen Irishman though. Have you seen The Irishman? He's like, I did, but it was worth the wait. Like, you have to go through it, but trust me, when you come out of it, it's worth it. So I might just watch it.
Yeah, no, it's a really good movie. I love seeing Joe Pesci again because he's been somewhat retired for a long time from movies, and he's a great actor. It's just to see him on screen again was magnificent, and he was phenomenal in The Irishman. Of course, so is everyone else.
Something else I watched recently on Netflix. It was a documentary. I love documentaries, and this one was called "Don't Mess with Bleeping Cats."
I think we're allowed to swear here. It's a different type of cast.
Okay, well, it's not. They don't say the word "fucking" on the screen. It's bleeping, whatever it is. Anyway, it's a great documentary about this woman who had just got out of a relationship, and she was bummed, and her friend suggested go on the internet, check out cat videos. So she did, and she came across one that said 2 kittens and a boy. And put it on there, and you see 2 little kittens on a bed, and then this guy comes up to the kittens, proceeds to put them in a bag and kill them. And it's a story about them. Basically, the people on the internet all gathered together and basically got this guy convicted, and they chased him down better than the cops did.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for their detective work, he'd still be out there.
Power of the internet.
Yeah, he ended up actually killing a man as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well,
yeah.
Well, there goes me. I'm not going to watch it now.
But you don't see anything. You see him put him in the bag.
You just hear
the cat's in the bag.
Oh.
And then it cuts away. So you don't really see anything. But it's incredible. It's 3 hours, 3 separate segments. So it's a limited series documentary. Very good.
I heard some people talking about that as well. Codeco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they on their podcast TMG, they had a a couple episodes where Noel was talking about watching that documentary, and he just says like it's like so crazy with like what happens and all that. Especially like the killer, he's just like a complete psycho. Of course, like what else would you expect from someone who does such things?
Right,
But
I'm looking forward to watching that. I've just heard such great things about it. It's gotten a lot of good reviews.
Oh, it is. It's incredible.
But another movie, if we're just going down the list of what's been nominated, because I've honestly been just prioritizing Oscar movies, so I can't speak on any other movies I've seen recently. But if we're talking about one of the movies that's nominated, Avengers Endgame, it did come out a long time ago, but it's nominated for visual effects. And I mean, being a huge Marvel fan, I have a bias. But if we're going to talk about just the general, like, was it a good movie? It definitely was. I just loved how it was so well incorporated, just all the different characters and how each scene followed each scene and, like, how the plot just slowly, it just kept going. I was always so intrigued, and I just thought it was a really good movie. So that was my 2 cents on that.
Oh, actually, I think it could have been nominated for an Oscar as well for Best Picture. You know, add that extra...
you got 10 spaces, use them all.
Yeah, use them all. Because that was quite an achievement. And it was an incredible movie. So.
Oh yeah, when you like, I heard the behind the scenes picture they had for like the final fight scenes, like just that entire cast besides like the actors is amazing. Like it's just like so many people, and just to get that many actors involved in one scene.
Oh yeah.
Or basically one movie is amazing. Like, the production work from Kevin Feige, like. Oh man, like
incredible people. Everyone, arguably everyone that's been nominated, you have to give them all their credit. Like these are just amazing, hardworking people. So I have much respect to them. I couldn't imagine having to like direct a whole movie and getting all these actors on time. It's just such a crazy, it's just such a crazy job. So I got a lot of respect for everyone who's been nominated and those who haven't been for good movies. But I have a bias. I liked Infinity War a little more, which is weird. Everyone's like, Endgame was the biggest, but I just grew such a strong connection to Infinity War. So
I feel like I heard the opposite from that, because I feel like more people said Infinity War had more rewatchability, which I know I kind of disagree with. I feel like
I agree with that. So I guess we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, because like I felt like it's easier to watch Endgame over and over again. That's probably just me though.
Actually, a little tidbit. Endgame was written before Infinity Wars.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah, I can see why they did that. A lot of writers do that for books. Like, they write the ending before they even start the book.
Oh, yeah, like the way people outline things, like they already have like the entire like basics of what how it begins and ends, and then
they just fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Right. That's one way of going about it. I respect that.
Yeah, and then sometimes you just go for it, just make the whole thing right there. There's many different ways to making a story, but as long as it's a good story, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
And you originally got into movies because your dad?
Yeah, I'd say my dad. I mean, in Steven, I had told him this last night after watching Jojo Rabbit. My dad got me into watching movies, but it was probably after I met Steven and he started talking about movies more to me that I had taken the interest in paying more attention to like the cinematography. But like when I was watching 1917, I wasn't just watching it. Usually I'd watch it and be like, oh, war movie, nice movie, really cool, and I'd leave. But after Steven had told me I was doing this, and I was like, all right, now I have to pay attention. But I realized I wanted to pay attention because I realized I appreciated just the cinematography, the directing, and like everything that went into it, and I was just like blown away. So arguably my dad and Steven really got me into movies. So thank you, Steven.
Yeah, and I really appreciated hearing that. I was like, oh, really?
I have to really thank your dad then. He got you into movies. It's like a domino effect. So thank you.
And I thank my dad, who would take me and my brother to movies all the time. I can remember seeing one of the earliest movies in the drive-in, which you guys do know nothing about.
Probably not.
Loading 8 of us into the station wagon and going to the drive-in where my mom would make this big old sandwich. And one of the earlier movies I remember seeing was Planet of the Apes, and some Disney movies, of course. But it was always a family affair. There was drive-ins all over the place. Alameda, a couple in Oakland, San Leandro, San Jose. And that was the start of my movie experience.
Can you guys name the first movie that ever got you into movies? For me, it was an X-Men movie. I don't know which one, but I remember being young and I was just like, oh my God, how did they make this movie? I want to say just one of the first few X-Men movies for me.
Well, for me, it was probably Rear Window. I remember they used to have Saturday night at the movies on NBC, and they show classic movies. Of course, I'm talking 1965, so it goes way back, and my dad would say, "Martin, time to make popcorn." And I'd go down the kitchen, make a big old bag of popcorn, bring it up. The family would gather around the TV and we'd watch movies.
That's what we do today. My dad's like, all right, who's on popcorn? And my mom's like, I am. And then we get popcorn and we just sit down, we watch a movie in the living room. We still do that.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's my earliest memories of
Nice.
movies, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think when I really got into movies, I think I was a bit of a late bloomer because I believe it was Pulp Fiction.
I was
when
a late bloomer too.
In middle school.
For me, it was
sixth grade.
definitely middle school as well. I was pretty late.
Although it's kind of weird to think about it now because I remember when I was a little kid and I might have a hard time explaining this. Remember I used to just I was really small and I would just look at the movie thing we had, when we had a different setup for movies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? The whole all the DVDs. And were the movies that really caught my eye. I have no clue why they caught my eye.
Color, probably.
Color, yeah, because you know how
The
fast
cover
food
of the
restaurants,
movie?
they're mostly yellow and red because for some reason that attracts people.
Bright colors.
Pulp Fiction and the Kill Bill movies. Both those movies are on the covers are colored yellow and red.
Great movies to start with.
Yeah, but I was a little kid, I knew nothing about these movies, and I remember hearing about them and hearing people talk about it, I was like, oh, and then I started thinking, was I destined to watch these movies ever since I was little? Because I was already some sort of attention towards it that I wanted
You're
to watch these movies.
Really drawn to it.
And so looking back on that, it's just really weird. But yeah, when I finally got to see Pulp Fiction, I could not stop talking about it. I would just rephrase some of the quotes, even though I probably shouldn't have said them at the time. But it's just amazing, and that's of course thanks to my dad here who got me into it.
Yeah. Did you guys want to start talking about the 2020 Oscars ballot and our predictions?
I think we're ready.
Okay.
Now, how do you guys want me to start off here? Do you want to start from going from here, or do you want to start with the big ones?
We
So I
could
feel like we
start-
just start small.
You want to start smaller?
Yeah.
So you want to go from right to left?
Yes. So, short film animated. Now, some of these, I'm going to just get it out of the way now. We might not know everything about these. Of course, there's always a lot to learn.
9 out of 10 of these movies I have not seen. So this is going to be a total crapshoot, but I'd have to think I'm going to come out ahead when it comes down to adding up the scores.
Next year will be a lot better.
Yes.
We will have watched everything. But for short film animated, the nominees are Sister, Memorable, Kit Bull, Hair Love, and I don't know how to pronounce that one. Sarah? Daughter?
Yeah, it says daughter on it for the translation, but I'm not sure how to pronounce the original. But that one, the first three, and I could tell you have them maxed out. I just totally guessed on them. So for short film animated, I went with Daughter. Then short film live action, I went with The Neighbors, Window. I don't know why I've pronounced them separately as if they're two different sentences.
Neighbor's Window.
Yeah, but then I had a little pause there.
Oh.
And then for documentary short subject, this one I heard about one of the movies here, so that's why I'm going for it. It's learning to skateboard in a war zone. Then parentheses it says if you're a girl. I heard a little bit about that one. That one seemed pretty interesting to me. So, I feel like these are the ones that are gonna determine who wins by the points on this Oscar ballot, because that's how it works sometimes. When people do fantasy sports, so it's the person that just completely guessed things that ends up winning the whole poll. So you never know with some of these predictions we're gonna make here. But now we're gonna get into some ones that we actually thought about here. Visual effects nominees are Avengers Endgame, Irishman, The Lion King, 1917, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one? Because I see you got a nomination.
I'll let you go first.
Well, first of all, what did you pick for a short film?
Live action or animated?
Animated.
I went with Daughter.
And you went with?
I went with Daughter as well. I'm pretty much...
Okay, I'm going to go on the woman theme. I'm going to go Sister.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going with the woman thing here.
I chose Brother for the live action, so hey. Did anyone want to start with visual effects? I'm still debating.
Short film, what'd you go with?
Animated or... Oh, no, live action. I went with Neighbor's Window.
And
She went with Brothers.
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Brothers.
And because my brothers like to play football, I'm going to go with Football
That's
Club.
a good way of choosing. I should have just done that. Well, 1917 is a great year, so.
Well, yeah, actually, it was a great year.
Well, people still.
I don't know
die.
what happened in it, but and documentary.
I just chose learning to skateboard in a war zone.
So you guys both picked the same one.
Pretty much. And bandwagoning was
I'm
one.
going with St. Louis Superman.
Okay. Nothing wrong with being different.
Nope.
Nothing wrong at all.
And visual effects, we have.
Oh, so I went through the nominations on that one. I wanted to go with Endgame at first because I know parties are thinking like, well, it's the only nomination that it has. You know, I kind of wanted to win an Oscar because of how much that movie achieved in general.
Mm-hmm.
Irishman is there. One thing I want to mention with the Irishman, as I watched it, I had a hard time getting convinced that the actors were younger. Did anyone else think that? 'Cause you said you saw the first act of it. Yeah, it kind of distracted me. It's like, I can't think that they're younger than they are. I still think that they're like in their 60s and all that.
Yeah.
Did you think about that at all? Because like, there's still all the wrinkles they have. It's like, I had a hard time being convinced that there's much of a aging difference.
I had the same feeling. Yeah, well, I for those who don't know, I've only seen like the first 40 minutes of it, and what I can say is I agree with Steven in the sense of I just saw them, the actors, as who they really were, and oftentimes if they're that big of an actor, I have a hard time differentiating them from their character. So like when I watched Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time, I was like, that's Leonardo DiCaprio instead of just like, that's the character. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was the same for Irishman. I did have a hard time with that.
So next time you watch Irishman, so that doesn't affect you, just close your eyes.
All right.
So you can just like
easy.
Yeah.
Don't even watch it. Just listen to the
listen
movie.
to it, and you'll go, "Wow, what a great movie!"
But for visual effects, me being an Avengers and Marvel fan, I said I want Avengers Endgame to win just because that movie, the visual effects of it, like the big end fight scene was just
so
incredible.
amazing.
So I really do think they deserve it, and arguably more than Black Panther did when it was nominated last year or 2 years ago. I
Yeah.
believe.
It was good, but like there's still that one scene that really like bugged me where it looks more like a video game. You know, trying to talk about the final fight they have.
Yeah.
The CGI in that was like it got distracting.
It wasn't Oscar worthy to me at all. It was a
No.
good movie, but it wasn't Oscar worthy at all. I definitely think Endgame should win, but I'm pretty sure 1917 will win for visual effects. Just because I haven't seen The Irishman, The Lion King, or Star Wars. I know, how could I have not seen Lion King or Star Wars? It's a time thing. I didn't get the time to go see them, but it's a good thing we do have people who've seen them. So they might say, I'm wrong, I'm completely wrong, but I do
You're
think...
wrong. You're completely wrong.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
think 1917 is going to win.
My vote is going to The Lion King. I know it wasn't like the greatest movie because I know people had some issues with it, especially like with the such realistic animals going to like a non-animal like experience. With like what's going on in it. I don't know if I said that right, but either way, just the visual effects is amazing. How realistic everything looks, like the landscapes, the animals themselves. It was really beautiful. So despite like the quality of the movie itself, there's such greatness in its visuals. So I'm gonna go with that one.
I am going with. Oh, go ahead.
I've seen worse movies get an Oscar. For example, a movie that really grinds my gears is Suicide Squad, and yet that one for makeup and hairstyling. And excuse the French here, that was bullshit.
Was not a good movie, in my opinion. Not at all. It felt like such a drag.
Bullshit is a French word. Okay, anyway.
It was fucked.
Visual
Want to say
effects,
that?
I'm going with the only Oscar the Avengers will get will be it'll be Endgame. Will get visual effects.
All right.
It says will.
And now for...
Film editing.
Do you want to go over the nominations for that one?
Yeah, for film editing, we have Ford versus Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite. Now, I said what will win is Joker, but what I want to win is Jojo Rabbit because I liked how the movie was cut and I liked how just everything was put together, really. So I do think Jojo Rabbit deserves it, but I'm pretty sure Joker's going to get it.
Especially for some of the dramatic scenes in Jojo Rabbit. I'm not... can we go over spoilers here?
I'm going to say no.
All right.
Just in case.
But there's some dramatic scenes for... I was going to say for example, but I can't say them. They find a way to do some good editing to where like it's not like completely obvious, and yet it still is in a way of what you know is going on. For example... Yeah, I just whispered something there. Hopefully no one is able to hear
What'd you
that.
say?
Exactly. Thank you. But anyways, I'm gonna just get out of that topic there. But for film editing, I went with The Irishman because I don't know, bit of a crapshoot right there. I don't. Yeah, just you go, Dad. I need to think about what I need to say.
I'm gonna go with Irishman as well.
For what you want to win or what you think will go?
Will win. Irishman will win.
Any reason? Any reason why though?
I haven't seen it, so I'm just.
He's like, I
yeah.
just think so.
I just think so.
Hey, if you feel like it will, say it will.
This is why we appreciate Evelyn being here, because the way you explained your decision was so much better than ours. Just saying yes.
I'm pretty well spoken, I'd say, but I do have a hard time. I'm well spoken, but I'm very indecisive. So a lot of these, I'm down to like 2, and I just have to make up my mind right when we get to the topic. But you guys ready to talk about production design?
Oh, very much so. This one, I know what I can like justify it with. Would you like to go over the nominations?
Nominations are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, 1917, Parasite, and Jojo Rabbit.
I will cast my first vote on this one. I easily had to go with 1917. I already had a good idea that this was going to be really good with its production design based off like how it has to be like has a one-shot design. That means you can't really go set by set. It all has to be done at once or at least look that way. Mm-hmm. And just looking at the entire landscape and did some behind-the-scenes look into it. No, I wasn't there at the site of the movie. But I just watched some behind-the-scenes on YouTube. And just looking at the entire landscape they have for all of these scenes they did is completely beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the planning they made, especially like for the scene when Schofield is walking through the destroyed city at night and all the flares popping up. They talked about how they planned to have the flares go in like certain landscapes because they had a little flashlight in a miniature version of the city.
Yeah, they had the whole set built in like a miniature version. I mean, they had like they were testing the lighting to see where the shadows would land. It was really interesting.
You saw that too?
I did.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, it's just things like that. And especially when they're going through the landscape as well, like in the beginning when they're starting to
detail.
Go through and like you see like, oh, it's not good to see, but like, the bodies around the place. Mm-hmm. It's very realistic. It feels like you're there yourself. So my vote's going to 1917.
I think it's clean sweep, 1917. With
you as well?
I said that so this is one of the ones where I came down to 2 for my want. I do think 1917 is going to take it. I think it'll take it. But I want 1917 or Parasite because I saw this video that explained that for Parasite, they have this big blue screen and like they were pretending to make like the entire city behind them. And there was another scene where it explained that the house of the rich family was entirely built for that movie. Like that house was not there. Like they built that house for that movie. And I'm like, who builds a house for a movie? So it was just really,
they do.
Yeah, they do. It blew me away. I was like, wow, building an entire house for a movie. So I mean, I do think 1917 should get it more than Parasite, but just because I said I love Parasite, I'm pretty torn. But I think it'll take it. 1917 is going to win.
So this is our first what will win and what should win.
Yeah.
Again, we all agree on one.
Yeah.
Another one I kind of want to chip in there. I don't think it will win it, but I think it deserves some praise. Is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The way that film transports you all the way to 1969. I thought that was pretty good as well. Especially with the landscape, not the landscapes, but the way the city looks. I love seeing like the old theaters and all that.
I love the old cars.
Just seeing the Taco Bell was like, I don't know why that one got my attention for some reason. Even though I hate Taco Bell, actually, I do.
What? That's another argument for another day. We got to talk about that one.
We'll do a fast food cast or
something. We definitely will. Taco Bell's not that bad. But anyway, cinematography, the nominations are 1917, The Lighthouse, The Irishman, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'll start off by saying that I want, and I think Joker will win this award just because I love good colors in movies. So anything that has captivating colors or like up close shots, and I just love, I don't know, like watching Joker, I really paid attention in the trailer as well to how close the camera was and the angles it was shot at. So especially the bathroom scene and the scene of where he's running through the city at night, the big shadow of him with the black and yellow coloring of the nightlights. I can get so specific. I just love the colors in Joker. It really captivated me and it really just took my eye.
So you definitely wouldn't like The Lighthouse because that's pretty much
black and white. When I saw the trailer, I was like, what is this? I can't.
But it was incredibly visually
I'm sure it was.
Stunning movie.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Although some stuff got weird.
But I love colors in movies. So I also like Jojo Rabbit for that too. Just the really bright colors. And I hate to say it, but like the Nazi flags were really bright red, and I'm just so attracted to bright colors. So I really liked that.
We're not saying it's pretty, folks. We're just
we're just saying
its
the color catches our eye. That's all we're gonna say. But yes, I do think Joker will take it, and I want it to.
I actually kind of want to go off what you said with Jojo Rabbit. I do like how everything was so colorful for something that like has such a dark tone.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do like that. But my vote's
not even one of the movies though.
Oh yeah, it's not. But we're just mentioning how the color's good in the movie.
Okay.
Oh, I just realized that.
So what are you going with?
1917. The way Roger Deakins is able to make it look like a one shot, even though it was. Of course, Sam Mendes has a big part to do with that as well.
I was really torn on that one because I had seen the video you've seen where they explained how praised this man is for his cinematography, and I was like, gosh, do I go with something that I love or something that I like really admire? But no, I'm a Joker person. That one's really good. That has my vote.
Yeah, I'm going with 1917 as well, but The Lighthouse.
So he's
upset.
Gonna bash.
There will be an upset.
It's gonna bash
right now.
It's your sleeper pick.
My sleeper pick, Lighthouse.
All right. Next up, we got costume design. The nominees are The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Who likes to go first on that one?
I'm going to go off and start with Little Women for what I want to win and what will win, just because I think when the time that the movie set in with the big dresses and the hairstyles and then the outfits that the men had to wear to represent that time in history, I think it just was a lot to get together, probably a lot to make, and I'm pretty sure it was hard to act in such heavy clothing. So I really admired how well they were really able to capture what it looked like in history, like just the outfits of everything. And this one I wasn't really torn on. I was pretty settled on that one.
And for the same reasons you said, I'm picking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, nice. I mean, that one does a good job, too, of capturing that time in history. But I just think Little Women's more detail in the clothing was better.
Nice. For me, I'm going to go with Jojo Rabbit. I just really liked all the looks everyone had. Especially like when Yorkie had like the suit that felt like it was like, he said it felt like it was just made out of paper and he's like having a hard time walking through. And just like the way everyone's costume was, especially Taika Waititi as Hitler himself.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Does these pants look too big on me and all that? But no, I love the costume design of that one, especially how it makes everything like, even though it's supposed to be like representing evil, it makes it look so like colorful in a way. It's like, oh, wow.
Right.
We got makeup and hairstyling. We have Bombshell, Joker, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Judy, and 1917. I am going with Judy.
Judy?
Yeah.
I actually like looking at Renee Zellweger. I hope I'm saying her name right.
You said her name perfectly.
I hope so. Either way, I don't know. I just had a feeling like when I saw her, like the wig she has, if it's a wig, it probably is a wig because the first thing I think is like, oh, that's definitely a wig. You should never have to think that when you see someone like do a transformation for a movie. You shouldn't have to like think that it's a wig. Like, it should look very convincing.
They're pretty natural. But for me, having seen 1917 and Joker, I definitely thought Bombshell would not get it just because it was like the least creative of makeup and hairstyling. Joker, I just know that he was the only one really with the clown makeup other than his coworkers. I wasn't really too moved on that one. Judy, I've never seen, so I don't have much to say on that, though it could take it. 1917, I think there wasn't much hairstyling or makeup other than making them look like dirty soldiers.
Yeah, they all wore helmets. Come on!
That's costume, please. But definitely, I'd go with Maleficent. I just think her makeup and hairstyling was really nice. So I'm just going to go with Maleficent for what I think will win and what I want to win.
Yeah, and the ballots we have here are from Rotten Tomatoes, so they have all their scores here as well. And Maleficent, and it's not nothing against our picks, but it does have a 40%. I was just gonna say, hey, I've seen lower movies win an Oscar for makeup and hairstyling.
Taking a jab at Evelyn there.
No, it's not. It's a jab at Suicide Squad.
Jab
Again,
will take it. Yeah, Suicide Squad.
I will keep jabbing at the movie as much as I can.
Okay. Your pick.
Did you pick?
Yeah, oh no, actually not yet. I wanted to go as a Joker just because I was just like so in love with Joaquin Phoenix's look as the Joker.
Yes.
I wanted to try to go for that for Halloween. Actually, do you mind if I do a little funny story here?
Continue.
For Halloween, I decided to actually kind of do his makeup. So I got white, blue, and red paint, and I had some friends of me apply it to myself. at a Halloween party when I was in San Francisco State.
And how'd you look?
I thought it was not bad. I sent it to a friend of mine. And they really liked it. Of course, I hope they weren't sugarcoating it.
A lot of people's Halloween looks, and as it should be, everyone was really amazed by that makeup look on Joaquin Phoenix.
And I got some green hair dye, not like legit dye, but just spray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
awesome.
And I thought it looked pretty good, except I looked at the bottom more, and my face was starting to feel weird.
I want to be
feels a little stiff.
Halloween.
The white paint wasn't paint; it was latex.
Oh.
Yeah, so I risked losing my eyebrows. I had to have some friends of mine pull the paint off. It wasn't totally pulling it off, but I'm slowly just grabbing it here, and I just start panicking so much where I start laughing in a way. It's I couldn't stop laughing. I'm scared.
It's a good representation of the movie. It's horrifying but funny.
Yes.
Your mom could have painted some new eyebrows on you.
I could have.
Luckily, I did a little technique that people showed me, just watering my eyebrows and just rolling the latex
Smart.
off.
You just saved your eyebrows.
Oh yeah, I was so scared because I could see a few hairs on
the latex.
Yeah, so it was really scary, but overall, I was pretty satisfied. But if I ever do it again, I know what to do next time.
We
Read
got
the damn label.
3 different votes. I just realized that. Judy, Maleficent, and Joker.
Same thing with our last one, costume design. We all had something different, I believe.
Now for sound mixing, I think we can all agree on this one. Maybe not. I haven't seen your guys' ballot papers yet. But for mine, I said sound mixing, the nominees are Ad Astra, Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. For me, I chose for what I want to win and what I think will win is obviously 1917, just because I think with all the combination of the war sounds with the guns and the explosions and everything and just all the mixing of it, I found it really amazing, and that's what I said will win.
Well, I totally agree with you. That's why I'm picking Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, I was stuck between that one just because I haven't seen it though, but I do think with the cars, that might be a really good sound mixing moment.
And for me, it's really one scene that really pulled me in for this one. I went with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and one scene that I just love for the sound mixing. I'll literally watch the scene over again on YouTube just to hear the sounds. Is the scene when Cliff Booth enters his quote unquote house with his dog, and he starts preparing mac and cheese.
The dog food.
No, not the dog food exactly. Although the sound it makes when it hits the bowl and the sound of the dog himself, licking his lips and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just moving around.
The dog was arguably one of the best characters in that movie.
Oh, Savior too.
Savior, big character.
But the sound of him pouring the quote unquote again cheese on the pasta and all that, just all the sounds, I loved it so much. And when a movie can get my attention just through sound in general that easily would pull me away. So that's why for sound mixing I went with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I want mac and cheese right now, actually. Just thinking about it.
But the next one's actually pretty similar. This one is sound editing, and for this one we have Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now you're probably going to be like, why did you pick 2 different things? But I said for this one, what will win is Ford vs. Ferrari. I don't know how. I was just let me mix it up. If I go for 1917 twice, I might jinx myself. So I chose Ford versus Ferrari just in case it does pull through. But I chose that I want 1917 to win just because I really liked how the movie sounded. I really felt like I was in the movie.
Mm-hmm. The whole movie does such a great job at bringing you to the battlefield itself. But right. I put my vote into Ford versus Ferrari because I have to imagine with the racing scenes, especially using such vintage cars, there's got to be such work put into bring those cars to life for the audiences. So that's why I'm going with Ford versus Ferrari.
And I'm going with 1917.
Heck yeah.
Next up, we got original song. The nominees are I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4, I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, I'm Gonna Love Me Again, Rocket Man, and Stand Up from Harriet.
Now, are we going to do what we discussed and each of us are going to sing part of the song?
There's no discussion on that. And
just singing. Ready? Go.
I'm pretty sure Evelyn has a good voice. I'm pretty sure people would not want to listen to me.
Can you sing?
No.
Oh, well,
I do
I could vouch for that.
talking of the song.
reading off the lyrics.
Yeah.
For this one, I haven't seen any of these. I'm horrible, I know. Not even Frozen, which I do want to see because I liked the first Frozen and the first few Toy Stories I really liked. But having only heard one song all the way through was Into the Unknown. I definitely think, I don't want to mess up her name, Idina Menzel. I think she did an amazing job singing. Great Broadway performer. So I definitely put my vote in for her that she will, and I want to win.
You got it right. I just reminded me from when the first Frozen movie came out, and that the song "Let It Go" was nominated, and John Travolta came up to introduce Idina Menzel. I don't know what exactly he said, but he completely butchered her name.
Oh,
Butchered it.
So when
awful.
when you got it right, I just totally thought about that.
Yes, Idina Menzel. She's great. So I think she'll win it, and I want her to.
I'm gonna go with "I'm Gonna Love Me Again" from Rocket Man, because which I'll just say. I just heard so many great things about Rocket Man. I know my dad has a gripe with the movie that
You
it's
didn't
sort
see
of. No, I actually didn't.
Oh, wow.
But I listened to the song.
I've seen it.
But can you vouch for "I'm Gonna Love Me Again" at all?
No, because I can't remember what it sounds like. I saw that when
It's such a
first
memorable
came out.
movie.
Well, scenes were, but the music, let me tell you, it was a lot. People were comparing it a lot to Bohemian Rhapsody. Let me just say this. They are nothing
Overrated.
alike. They are nothing alike. Those two
Bohemian
movies are
Rhapsody.
nothing alike.
Yeah.
We have a Bohemian Rhapsody hater, and I love that movie. We have completely different people at the table right now.
And I'm undecided.
And he's in the middle, so we have a good mix of people in Bohemian Rhapsody. But that's last year's Oscars. We're talking about this one, but I can't really vouch for Rocket Man. Or at least that song. I can't remember that song, but the movie itself I do remember.
And I'm going with Toy Story 4. I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away. The winner.
All right. Can you explain it at all?
No.
You don't have to, because I can't really explain mine as well either. Only Evelyn could.
But I think Rocket Man will win.
Now for original score. I just want to say, scores are something that I really love when it comes to movies. I have an entire playlist just of scores.
Dedication.
Because before I still think about it, something I've always wanted to make my own films, or imagine how it would look if I directed something, or at least did the music for something, and I just listen to put my headphones on, listen to music, and I just imagine my own scenes with it, and I just listen to a score. I just try to create something for myself. And so I really do love original scores. They just really affect your emotions throughout a movie, and that's what it's meant for. It's supposed to change the tone for the movie, for the audience. And the nominees for original score are 1917, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And does anyone want to cast their vote first?
Yeah, I'll say that for both of what I want to win and what will win is Joker, just because that bathroom scene song, I remember first watching the movie in the theater and then watching it again in my living room with my family, and just really, really getting pulled into the scene, not just for his movements and for, just the whole, overall way it was shot, but definitely the music, that low string that's playing in the back. It's just so dramatic, and it perfectly captures, the whole essence of that film and just that whole shot right there. It's just dark and it's slow, and so I definitely say that song would be the best, and I think it should win.
I'm going with 1917.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it's the first title on this.
It's the first option on the paper, so
Yes,
yes,
my
you're choosing
first
it.
option. I'm going boom.
The easiest one.
The easiest one.
What about you, Steven?
I am going with 1917. I've actually been listening to the song 1600 Men, which is one of the last few songs in it. It's for the scene when one of the soldiers is running through the battlefield to send a message to stop the attack. And just the way the music goes with the scene where he's just running to the battlefield, he's just running off sheer will alone because he is so tired.
Great song for the scene.
And actually, you notice how I just want to add a little fact here. You know how he's running through people in that scene, how he gets knocked down a couple times?
Yeah, that was on accident.
Yeah.
I did see the same
Oh,
Insider video.
that's the same video, probably.
Same Insider video, yeah.
Yeah, Insider. I love Insider so
They're
much.
great.
Yeah, that wasn't meant to happen, but I think it made the scene a lot better because it
More
made it so much
authentic.
more, yeah.
You can't just run perfectly through trust. I think that was really good on his part.
Yeah, and the music added so much to it. I remember I was watching it with my mom, and I could hear her crying. Next thing I'm like, yep.
I was on the
Nice.
edge of my seat, but I still think Joker's better. I'm sticking to my vote.
And just another little thing about 1917, like when it comes to the score as well, that movie does keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time.
The whole movie.
Every little thing that they do, just like from either just staying down relaxing or just like looking through a hallway, you think something can happen at any moment. And the score helps out with that so much.
I love movies that always keep me engaged. Movies that have those like dud moments, those scenes where you can honestly just put your head back. It's like, I can't. So I really appreciate 1917 for that. Arguably why it's one of my favorites of all the nominations. But next we have International Feature Film. And I'm just going to say off the bat, these next three categories I know nothing about. I've seen none of them. Except Parasite. So for International Feature Film...
I guess what you're going to pick.
Oh, man, I really wonder what I'm going to pick. The nominees are Corpus Christi, if I said that right. Honeyland... How do I say it? Les Miserables?
Les Miserables, yeah.
Yeah, Pain and Glory, and Parasite. It's pretty clear that I think that Parasite's going to win, and I also want Parasite to win. It was just off the charts. It was just a completely different movie for me, and I'm sure for everyone. And they probably didn't expect that from the director himself or from Korea, from classic Korean films. So I was just really blown away by it.
I really thought you were going to go with Honeyland for some reason. My bad.
No.
That will win Best Documentary. Honeyland.
Probably.
Anyway, I'm going with also Parasite. Incredible movie.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing we strongly all agree on, especially since that's the only one we saw. But no, it's also nominated for Best Picture as well.
Yeah.
I think it deserves a solid shot at Best Picture as well, but we'll get into that one later. But yeah, Parasite is just such a wonderful film.
Then the next category is Documentary Feature, and the nominees are American Factory, The Cave, The Edge of Democracy, For Sama, and Honeyland. Now, for this one, I don't have an opinion on any of them, so I can't really say what I want to win, but I think what will take it is Honeyland.
I'm going with For Sama.
I'm going with Honeyland as well. But I do recommend you watch American Factory. I do believe it's on Netflix. Very good documentary.
Next, we have Animated Feature, which are the nominees are How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Claws, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. Once again, haven't seen any of these. I'm terrible. But what I think will get it is probably Claws. But I can't really say what I want to get it. I'm just going to say Toy Story 4 because I'm a Toy Story person. But yeah, what will take it is Claws.
Actually, Toy Story 4 is the only one on this list that I saw. But actually, don't want to go for that. I did like Toy Story 4. I didn't have anything against it. Although the people I saw with, they weren't big fans of it.
A lot of people didn't like it. It was interesting.
I thought it was really good, although I don't think it's worth 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's still a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Missing Link is going to be the winner for that. Because when I saw the previews for it, I was like, I don't know about this one. Because, it just seemed like very low-key than most movies. And it actually seemed pretty good, honestly. The more I looked at it through the previews and such and hearing the reviews, it actually does seem pretty good. So I'm going to go with that one. Although I Lost My Body, that's my sleeper pick right there.
And that is my pick. I Lost My Body.
Nice.
Currently on Netflix.
Yeah, we actually just saw the preview for it on that one. And that one, it got my attention. I'll say that.
I'm going to star that one. I want to watch that.
And
adapted screenplay. We have The Irishman, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, and The Two Popes.
Let's start.
I guess I'll go first. I'm going to go with Joker just because, a lot of Joaquin Phoenix's performance here just really carried it. It's not like, people were lagging, but Joaquin Phoenix is so excellent the entire movie. And Todd Phillips, I believe he also wrote it as well. Besides directing.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at those videos where they had the script and scene going on at the same time, you could tell that they did such a good job bringing it onto screen. And I really loved it. Although one I won't mind winning would be Jojo Rabbit as well, because of how all the characters interact with each other. It was really good too.
Our votes nearly the same. I said that I want and will get Joker. I'm going to say Joker just because I think he really transforms the image of the Joker. He takes it and he changes it up and he just adapts it in a completely different, unexpected way. And I admire that greatly in an actor, let alone just the writers of the movie and the director. Everyone who had involvement in making of this story and this Joker really did a great job. So I think Joker's going to take it and I wanted to. But just like you, I really wouldn't mind seeing Jojo Rabbit take it.
I'm going with... Little Women, for its lone Oscar.
Lone Oscar, wow.
It wasn't done in a conventional way, which I think is key for its win.
It helps you stand out.
It does.
And what is it that made it unconventional? It's not a chronological order, right?
Yeah, they did the flashbacks and stuff like that.
And can you vouch for that since you saw it?
Yeah, Little Women, it definitely had some flashbacks in it. From what I remember clearly, the movie, I just really admired the plot and all the characters. The characters, I mean, we're going to get to that once we get to actress and supporting actress. I think the women in the movie did an amazing job. And Timothée Chalamet, he's not nominated for a supporting actor, which I really think is a rob. I think he was pretty good in that movie. But, yeah, it was not conventional, was not in chronological order. And I think that's what makes it pretty cool as well. But next up, we have Original Screenplay, and the nominees are Knives Out, 1917, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I'm going to go ahead and say that I want, and I think will win, is Parasite. I just think that movie is just so crazy. The plot is just so interesting. I was really so drawn into it, and I feel like anyone could get into that plot. It's not like a war thing. It's not like a romance film. It's just an overall interesting story.
Yeah, and I just I love Parasite so much. The way everyone interacts with each other and like the stories that they tell each other, especially the dad. The dad is so good in the movie.
Yes, he's amazing.
And like all the logic they use, how smart they all are. Everyone works together so well in that movie, especially the little things that go on through the movie. Like, you know, every now and then in the movie, they actually do show a line between the poor and the rich, like literal lines. Mm-hmm. Like, remember how the maid was getting fired? Mm-hmm. You know, like when the mom is talking to her, there's actually like a line between them to show like, you know, a literal sense of like what divides them and all that.
Great symbolism there. What about you? What did you say?
Parasite as well. Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. We're all agreeing on that one.
Even though, you know, you could always go with Quentin Tarantino because everything he writes is just incredible. But Parasite was a great movie.
Knives Out is a close one as well. Everyone interacted in that movie pretty well.
I'm pretty sure
the donut.
Once Upon a Time.
It's like a donut.
Oh, wait, which one is that?
In Knives Out, when he's talking about it.
Yes, I remember now.
It's like a donut hole that has
a donut
hole.
I really want to see Knives Out.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
We watched it when we were in Seattle.
Nice.
Yeah. Now we got actor in a supporting role.
Time for the big awards.
Yeah. We got Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Al Pacino, The Irishman, Joe Pesci, The Irishman, Anthony Hopkins, The Two Popes, and Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And that just made me think, I didn't see A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I need to see that.
I really want to see that too.
I did see it. Good performance by Tom Hanks. I think Al Pacino and Joe Pesci are going to cross each other out. From what I understand, Anthony Hopkins, great role for him. But Brad Pitt's winning all the awards this season, and he will continue to win this one.
I think he's well deserving. Once again cast my vote for him, and I think he will take it just because of the obvious other awards that he's won this year. But I do think he deserves it. If anything, honestly, I was paying more attention to Leo's character just because I knew he was the main character and he was very unique. But Brad Pitt, I just loved his character.
He was so smooth.
He's so smooth,
engaging.
So you're so intrigued and so admired of just admiring him. He's a great character in that movie.
Especially in the final act of the movie when he takes the acid dipped cigarette. Oh my goodness,
I think
that
throughout
was so
the entire
good.
movie, but especially that scene, he really was catching my eye.
He was going bonkers.
That scene when he was on the roof thinking about what he did wrong, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I deserved it."
Oh yeah, the way it just 7 minutes of a flashback just to go back to what it was. It was like, oh wait, did they just? Oh, they really just did that. It really gets your attention. But no, I want to go with Brad Pitt, and I do feel a little nervous going for him because since he's won everything.
Nervous? You feel nervous about picking him?
Oh yeah, because he's been doing so well awards season that maybe when it comes to the biggest stage they're not gonna give it to him.
Nah. It was like Rami Malek when he did Freddie Mercury. He won all the little awards for Best Actor. What? He was a good Freddie.
Oh, yeah, good Freddie.
But the movie you don't like. But I think his performance was really well. So he did that. He won all the small awards, and then he won Best Actor at the Oscars.
Okay, we have actress in a supporting role. We have Kathy Bates For Richard Jewell, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell. Steven.
Oh, I actually wanted to go first on this one as well, so I think you read my mind. But yeah, for this award, I want to go with Scarlett Johansson so badly, which I am, because she was she was just so good as the mom in that movie. The way she interacts with her son and all that, the way, like, despite all these dark times that they're going through, she finds a way to lighten the mood and all that.
I don't know if it's the first time ever, but she's nominated for a leading role as well as a supporting actress role. She's nominated for leading actress in Marriage Story. So I don't know if that's the first time, but a little tidbit fact.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that it might be Laura Dern or Florence Pugh.
She was very good in Marriage Story. Laura Dern.
Wait. Okay, because you said Pugh in Marriage Story, but Pugh's in Little Women.
I'm pretty sure Laura Dern's going to take it for Marriage Story. She's been winning the Supporting Actress award for most of these past awards. But I'm definitely torn between Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit and Pugh and Little Women. I think both actresses did an amazing job bringing their characters from paper to life. Just like you said, Scarlett Johansson being a mother during the World War II times and being with Jojo and just how she interacts with him. I don't want to spoil it, but other people in the movie, it's just really good. I found it really good.
Yeah.
And for Pugh, I just thought her character was so captivating. I found it so interesting how she was able to just take that character and make it her own. So I really admired her acting in that. So I'm going to say Laura Dern's going to take it, but I would really like to see Scarlett Johansson or Florence win it.
I'm going Scarlett Johansson.
All right. Now we got actor in a leading role. We got Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, Jonathan Pryce, Two Popes. Would you like to go?
Yeah, I'm going to say for who I want and who I'm pretty sure is going to take it is Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. Like I said, he spent a lot of time dedicating himself to transforming for this role, and I think he did an amazing job portraying the Joker and who he really is and how he came to be. So I'm just really amazed, and I think Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor, period. I've seen his other works, and I really think he's deserving of this. Yeah,
the Academy tends to go for actors that transform themselves physically and mentally. They go for the disturbed person. I'm going to go with Joaquin Phoenix as well.
Clean sweep then, because I'm going with him too. But I feel a little nervous going for him because I feel like with the way the initial reactions were for Joker, I feel like it was going to be hard for that movie to get nominated because people thought it was too dark and all that, which honestly kind of got on my nerves. Is you can't just not like a movie because it's too dark for you. But no, that's just my opinion there and all that. But I think just his performance as Arthur Fleck becoming the Joker, the way he changes throughout the whole movie and the emotion he shows is so breathtaking.
Right.
So Adam Driver, I got to admit, he was also very good.
Yeah. He's my second.
Same. I'd say he's my second. Now for actress in a leading role, we have Cynthia Erivo? I don't want to pronounce that wrong. For Harriet, Scarlett Johansson from Marriage Story. Oh, this one I have a hard time pronouncing. Do you guys know how to pronounce her name?
Saoirse Ronan?
I thought that was like Saoirse or something. Or let's say Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Yeah.
Zellweger for Judy. I'm going to give it to Ronan for Little Women. I just think she did a great job being that uplifting and just really driven woman back in the day for her character. She just really takes that character and makes it her own. She really adopts it and utilizes it. And her features, just, being an actress on her own and who she is as her own person away from the character, I think really complemented the character. So I'm going to give it to her. But Scarlett Johansson, I wouldn't mind seeing her win it too.
Yeah, well, for me, I want to go with Ronan as well. What you got? I didn't see Little Women, but from her resume in acting, I'm a big fan of her. I saw her in
Lady Bird.
Yeah, Lady Bird. That's such a good movie. She's just a great actress all around. Plus that other movie, Hannah, I believe. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh,
yeah. She's just great in that as well. What's your pick?
First of all, she's an incredible actress. that takes chances in the roles she chooses, and she's quite an interesting actress.
Very professional.
Very professional, and she's gonna win her share of Oscars, just not this year. I think Renee Zellweger will win it for Judy.
Now we got Best Director here. The nominees are Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Bong Joon-ho, by the way, he has an incredible resume. He's done like so many good movies.
I've seen one of his movies, Okja. That's a really good movie.
That's
really good. Sam Mendes for 1917. Todd Phillips, Joker. Martin Scorsese, The Irishman. And Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think Tarantino's going to take it, but I would like to see Sam Mendes take it just for 1917. I like the idea of everything being, well, they say shot in one shot. It wasn't really shot all at once, but how they put it together to make it look like it was. And I think just that creative vision behind it was really good. But I really wouldn't mind seeing Bong Joon-ho take it.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there. I think what did you say again? Sam Mendes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm totally going with him as well on this one. Although I would love to see Tarantino get one because he hasn't won for Best Director yet, and I would love to see him get that honor. I feel like the Academy might try to go for Scorsese because, he's, really good with the Academy. I don't know if that sounds right, but, it's like, the Academy going for one of their guys that they're really good with. So I'm a little nervous they might go with him. That's nothing against Martin Scorsese, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won it.
I'm going with Sam Mendes as well. He's got a track record, directs incredible movies, and 1917 is an incredible movie. So, clean sweep on that one.
one, we have Best Picture, and the nominees are Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I'm going to go off and say it. I really want Parasite to win it, and I think it would be groundbreaking in Hollywood if a foreign film sweeped and just took Best Picture. It has the best ratings out of all the movies, but that's besides the point. Personally, great movie, but I unfortunately do think Tarantino's going to take this one. Just because it's Tarantino. I think he's going to take it, but Parasite's more deserving of it, in my opinion.
I feel partially the same. I really think Parasite should be the clear winner for this one, although I'm not sure if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has a solid chance. I think if there's going to be someone that will win it, it's either going to be 1917 or The Irishman. Because, again, I can see the Academy going for one of their guys, Martin Scorsese, and going for that movie. But the winner should be Parasite.
And while I love Parasite, loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite won't win because they're going to give it to the International Feature Film Award. So they're not going to give them both. Quentin Tarantino, great director, great movie. Nope. I'm going to go with the long shot. Ford versus Ferrari.
I don't have anything against you on that one because last year's Oscars, I was totally surprised when Green Book went on. I was like, what?
It's completely random now. You can't make the best predictions at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely torn. I do think Hollywood or 1917 is going to take it, just because I heard 1917 is a better shot at taking it than Tarantino's movie. But that's pretty much how I see it. I do think Parasite deserves it.
Now, those are the Oscar picks. So, are there any actors or movies you think that should have been included or omissions?
The snubs.
The snubs, yes.
Well, even though I didn't see Little Women, I feel like it was kind of ridiculous that Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Best Director.
Yeah, that's so... I was baffled by that. And I could pull and say that it was because she's a woman, but, you never really know. But I do think that has something to do with it in the slightest. I just think she's really deserving of being at least nominated and being recognized for her work.
And I thought Lupita Nyong'o should have been nominated for Best Actress, but there is a big bias against most horror movies because
Lupita did a great job.
That was great acting right there.
But another horror role that I feel like should have been nominated, not for this year, but either last year or 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was last year, is the main actress in Hereditary. I can't get her name right now.
Oh, the mom?
But yeah.
She's amazing.
The fact that she didn't even get considered, I thought was just completely rude, just because she is so good in the movie.
That's
she
one
gives
of
it
my
her
favorite
all.
Movies. Yes, that's one of my favorite movies ever.
The fact that Hereditary didn't get nominated for anything, just it blows.
It really does. And it's cool because Florence Pugh is actually in Midsummer, which is from the same director of Hereditary. But like I said earlier, I can't think of anyone really that well, but I will say that Timothée Chalamet was a really good actor. He did a really good job in Little Women, so I think he should have at least been considered for a supporting role.
Any for you, Dad?
No, you just named you named them both. That's
Pretty much it?
yeah.
I kind of wish Endgame got nominated for maybe more of the background stuff.
Yeah.
I will say that.
They
At least maybe
do-
original score.
They do superhero movies dirty, I think, and horror. I mean, horror more than any of them.
Yeah. And there's a little bit split on Joker's. Like, technically, it fits the category of like comic book stuff, but it's more about a villain's origin. Plus, the style it's done. It's not done in like the typical Hollywood style. It's so different compared to other movies. And those are our picks for the Oscars. We hope you all enjoyed listening. I always want to thank Evelyn for coming here again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You're very insightful, and I liked your opinions.
Thank you.
And that's it. Please comment, like, and subscribe and all.
Yes.
And good night.
Good night.
Good night.